Do you need to learn how to set up a professional ProPresenter file starting from scratch all the way through Sunday Ready? Well, today we're going to teach you. My name is Chrstian McKean, and I'm the video director at the Pursuit Northwest Church, and I'm here today with Elizabeth. Hello.
Hi.
So glad to have you.
So good to be here.
How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be able to do this because I have done ProPresenter before. I've used it a handful of times, but I've never set it up from scratch, and I've never used it in depth. So you're gonna teach me, and then we're gonna teach our viewers how to do it all today. And hopefully for you guys watching, you'll be able to scrub through the video and go to the points that most fit where you need to. But if you haven't set up anything, if you're looking at the same screen we are that is totally blank, a totally fresh ProPresenter screen, then just go ahead and keep watching all the way through, and this is for you. So let's go ahead and get started.
Great. I'm just gonna give you a quick tutorial of all things ProPresenter. So up here we have this search icon. So if you connect to your library, which is the first tab here, or if you connect your CCLI, which is like where you get your songs and copyright information, if you connect your CCLI, you can search CCLI's library.
Okay.
So if you don't want to copy and paste from the good old Google, you can use this to import any songs.
Okay, great.
Then we have...
and that's the first step that you need. That's like, hey, like ProPresenter is mainly being used for worship slides.
Yeah.
So if that's your number one use for it, like obviously there's more. You can use it for slideshows, you can use it for playing videos, you can use it for confidence monitor, all these great things. But the number one is, hey, we're using this for worship slides. So this is the simplest way to set that up for you. So,
especially if your church likes to go spontaneous, having that CCLI information in there is super helpful. However, if there are songs from before 1990, it may not always find them.
Good to know.
Here's text. I don't really use this very often, but if you need to quickly edit any sort of text, you can hit that. Themes, this is really where you can mass edit all of your slides if they're in a different format. This is how you edit that quickly. I'll show that a little bit later.
Okay.
Here's show. Basically, anytime that you're in service or you're going to be presenting, you'll want to be on this tab. Here's the edit tab, which there's nothing selected right now, so I can't really show that right now.
But when you select something, you can edit it.
So edit will do it full screen, the slide full screen, and then the reflow editor is for, you can mass edit slides, you can separate them like line by line, which is super cool. Bibles, there are free Bibles that you can use in many different languages.
Oh, it's just different translations of scripture that you can pull for lower third if the pastor's sharing something. That makes sense.
So I personally like to have at least a Bible. We'll do the good old King James version.
ESV all the
way. You do have to purchase some of the ESV and the NLT and stuff like that. Okay. I assume because of copyright.
Got it.
But at the very least, having a free Bible.
What else do we have on here? We got TLV, NLT. So it says you can install them. Does that mean they're the free versions? Okay, got it.
Yep.
And then if you keep scrolling down, will it go to the purchase? Oh, there it is, the purchase tab, and then it'll show you which ones.
Yep.
Okay, great.
So these are all used by our different computers, and then if you have multiple licenses, you can install them on multiple computers, which is nice. But you have to purchase them per computer.
We're not doing that right now. We'll stick with New King James. That's good enough.
So really the main ones that I use is the stage editor, which is for your confidence monitor.
Great.
And then also your theme editor. So if you are doing lower thirds, if you're doing scripture, anything like that, it's going to be in your theme editor. And then over here we have your audience and your stage screens.
So that makes sense because if you're going to have, you pretty much want them on all the time, right? Is there any point during a Sunday service you're not going to have both of those screens enabled?
If you are troubleshooting something or you're trying not to send to your broadcast stream, sometimes if your band is in rehearsal and they need the lyrics on the stage and on the confidence monitor, then turning off the audience screen so it doesn't send to the lobby or to the live stream, that will be helpful. Also, if you are using like direct outs from your computer, like HDMI or an Apple TV or something like that. Sometimes when you restart your computer, ProPresenter will forget those outputs.
Gotcha.
And so when you open up ProPresenter, it'll just show the like main audience display on your monitor, and you're like, you can't exit it very easily. So if you hit Command 1, it'll toggle your audience screen.
Command 1.
Command 1. And then Command 2 will enable and disable. It'll toggle.
Nice, great. And we're just doing this for Mac users. If you're a PC user, sorry, we don't know what the commands are.
Probably Control 1.
I haven't learned that. Yeah, that makes sense.
No idea.
Look that up yourself.
Here are your looks. So the default is just what comes straight out, but multiple looks will be like your lyrics, your scripture, et cetera, et cetera. Live capture, which will capture your ProPresenter screens. I haven't used it too much in my experience, but it's there. Over here, this is what's sending to your different screens. So right now we are viewing screen 1, which is sending to the audience, and then the stage screen, which is the confidence monitor. So here we have the time, and et cetera, et cetera.
And that's totally customizable.
Yes.
Great.
Everything that pretty much is customizable, which is great.
Love it.
Here is your clears. So we have clear all, which will clear all of these buttons. This is clear music, and also these are in layers.
Yes.
So it will start, you know, this is your bottom layer, this is your top layer. So here's audio, here is messages, which is like mainly for like, hey, please come pick up your kids.
Right, yep, that's an important one.
Props, which is, I don't really use it too much, but it is a feature in ProPresenter. It's like logos and et cetera. Announcements, which is basically you can have like media that's on top of like your motion backgrounds and your text.
Right.
So you could be having your pre-service slides like rolling if it's set to the announcement layer, and then still have text and worship going on in rehearsals. If you ever run into your rehearsal is running longer than expected or whatever.
Right.
Clear slides, so that's mainly for any sort of text or foreground things. And then here's media, which is going to be your motion backgrounds or videos.
Which we use a lot of.
Yep. And then your video input. So if you have, you know, a video feed, a camera feed into ProPresenter, this is how you clear it.
And we haven't used that feature yet, but I feel like we should set it up.
Yeah.
Just because we have so much that we're already using and everything's talking to each other. Like we haven't used that, but I feel like it would be a good idea to do it.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Snohomish has it.
Snohomish does. Okay, great. So this campus does not.
This campus does not.
Okay. Good to know.
Here is where you can put your audio files. Most people shouldn't need the audio files, but you can throw in MP3s and stuff like that and drag them onto slides. This is how you can switch your confidence monitor, your stage screens, and then also, you know, send messages to your band.
I appreciate you giving me the keyboard, but you can hold on to that. That's for you.
You know, just
unless I need it.
Oh, well, it's not enabled. That's very sad. Anyway.
Okay, so if you were to have multiple stage screens, you could just click through them and it will cycle it for you?
If you click this, it'll show you which stage is available, and you can select which one. You don't have to toggle through it.
Okay, great. And also, one thing I was going to clarify is on the right-hand side, the clear buttons, those aren't for toggling, it's just for getting rid of.
Correct.
So if you were to keep clicking it, it's not going to change anything. It's just going to get rid of any layers that you have selected. Okay, great.
Timers. So here, if you click the little arrow, it'll drop down into more customizable things. You have countdown timer, so if you like always need a 30-minute timer for your sermon, you can do that. Countdown to time, so you can set it to a time, and it'll count down until that time.
Great.
And then the allow overrun, so if you're like, hey, it's, you know, 35 minutes, you are 5 minutes over, it'll show that with the allows overrun.
Yeah, we use that all the time.
Yeah. Messages, which are not set up, but here's where you can set up, you know, hey, please come get your kids. This is, you know, either their name or their code. Some churches have a code for each child.
Yeah.
So you can put that in here.
And you can choose where on the audience screen that goes.
Yes, and also which screen it sends to, which is great.
Right.
Props, again, logos, things like that. Don't really use them. And then macros. Macros are really great because they do multiple actions at once. So you can clear your background. You can switch your look to your lyrics look.
Right.
You can set your timers if you need to. Things like that. Switch your stage display.
Could you hypothetically reset to a start of service and then like a start worship, start sermon? Is that what we do?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome.
So.
Head of the game.
Yep. So, and then what's great about macros is, if this would right click.
Do you have to command click?
Here is your video bin, so you can throw in motion graphics and stuff like that. Also, here's your video inputs is down here. You can also toggle it on and off with Control V as in Victor. And I don't really use this too much because we don't really have motion backgrounds that play through our ProPresenter the way that it's set up. But if you do, this is kind of the main
Now
place.
this one will though, because this ProPresenter
that's
computer is
true.
being set up for the gym.
That's right.
And we don't have Resolume for that
Yeah.
sanctuary space. We just have the backgrounds that are going to get imported
Yep.
through here. Okay.
So also in here, you can do add playlist where you can manually add different videos, motion graphics, stuff like that. Or you can do a smart playlist where you can sync it to a specific folder on your desktop or on an SSD.
Cool.
And so anytime that you add files to it, it'll just automatically load it
Yeah.
into the smart playlist, which is great.
That's kind of what we have with Box,
Yeah.
right? So we use Box and that's connected as a smart playlist so that when the media
Yes.
team throws in more assets, it automatically goes into ProPresenter.
Correct.
Love that. That's amazing.
Here is your library. So I highly recommend having 2 libraries, one for your songs and one for like your sermon, for your pre-service stuff, because your song list is or your song library is going to be flooded with a bunch of songs over the period of time. And so it's going to be really hard to find your sermon presentation or your pre-service stuff.
Right.
So having it in presentations for like countdowns and things like that makes it so that it's super easy to find.
Okay.
And then any song will go into, or any sort of presentation will go into one of these libraries.
Yeah.
And then here's your playlist. And so you can throw in a bunch of different presentations is what it's called, but songs, countdowns, things like that in here, and it'll show up here.
Great.
So if we make a new presentation with Command N, as in November, we'll do countdown, sure. I can't type today.
That's okay.
Here's the size.
So I was going to ask about this. Now, we run everything in 1080p. We do all of our video, like broadcasts in 1080. We do all of our like video announcements in 1080. Is there an option to go above that in ProPresenter?
Yes. So you can do custom sizes, and also, which will apparently give you a specific size and dimensions that you can put in here.
Okay, cool.
Also, if you have a display connected to your ProPresenter machine, it'll automatically detect the resolution.
Right.
So.
Okay, now here's a good question. Our Seattle campus has an LED wall that's a different size and different resolution than our other campuses. So is our ProPresenter at that campus set to a different resolution?
Yes.
Okay, it is.
Yeah.
So we manually changed it. So it's not 1920 by 1080, it's whatever that LED wall size was set to. Okay. In my opinion, that's backwards. But that makes sense that that's how it is. That you can set it to what you want to customize it as.
Right. So here in the preferences menu, this is the ProPresenter preferences menu. It may look like it's made by Apple.
Oh, interesting.
It is not. It
Yeah,
is made
that fooled
by,
me.
right?
Wow.
They changed that recently. Anyway.
They're Apple people.
They are Apple people. They made their keynote for ProPresenter 7 very Apple keynote-esque back in the day.
Got it.
So if you could go to screens and configure screens, this is where you can set up all the screens. So
All the screens are all the different output
Correct.
places that it's getting. So we have, what screens do we already have set up for our current campuses?
So we have the main front house CG as we like to call it,
Yep.
which is whatever screens are in the actual room. We have 2 that goes to broadcast, lyrics and lyrics key.
Right.
And those have alpha in them, and we need to have 2 of them so that our blacks are actually black and not like transparent and stuff like that.
Right.
We've run into issues in the past
Yes.
with not
seen
having
that.
them.
Yep.
And then the last one, which we mainly have 4, the 4th one is the confidence monitor.
Okay.
I will say that apparently ProPresenter maxes at 8 outputs. I don't know why,
Oh, interesting.
but it just can't do more than 8.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
Don't know why.
Good to know.
So here we have the type of screen that you have. I'm currently on the audience screen. So here we have single, which is mainly what you'll probably be using, mirrored, grouped, and edge blend. This is more for like projectors and stuff like that. If you if you have 2 screens that you want to like merge or mirror or whatever, that's where you can use that. Hardware, this is where you can select your outputs and stuff like that. So right now we're using a placeholder. This is great if you are like setting it up at home, or like we are in a different space than the actual location where this is going to be installed at, and we need to have a screen to set everything up. This is a great way to do that.
That makes sense.
If you have a display connected to your computer, it'll show up here. You will always see a screen in here, and it'll always be the monitor that you're using. So if I hit this identify button, it'll also identify your screens, which is great. And then NDI, which we use to send lyrics to our Resolume computer, which is 2 separate machines. NDI does not do 24p, unfortunately, or 24 FPS. The lowest it can do is 30, which is unfortunate, but...
Interesting.
So...
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Color, if you need to do any sort of color correction on like projectors or anything like that, you can do that here. Corner pin, this is more for like projectors. If you need to like manually like adjust where your output is. And then alpha key, which you have none, straight, and pre-multiplied. So for like our lyrics and stuff like that, it's pre-multiplied.
Right.
And then same thing for here. You have the selection of where you want those screens to go.
Okay.
Output target, if you need to do a specific ratio, which you shouldn't, it's here.
It should stay on full.
Yep. The only thing that kind of is unfortunate about the stage displays is like you can have one screen sent to multiple outputs in the audience.
Right.
You cannot do that for the stage screens.
Oh, so you have to have
individual ones.
Okay, got it.
Which is kind of silly, but
yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so we just talked about screens, and now we're going to go to themes. Walk me through themes.
So themes are where you can have different text formatting for different things. So right now we're going to focus on making a lyrics look and a scripture look.
Great. The 2 most important ones. That's pretty much all we use, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. We'll throw some other ones in there, but
so
the most important.
Here's the theme editor. So it's under this more section. Here is where you can size. So currently our output is at 4K for our screen, but you can also size it down to whatever you need.
We're probably going to stick with 1080p, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to switch it?
Yeah, let's do 1080. So that's just kind of, it's standard anyway. Like the average church is not going to demand 4K.
That's true.
It's too expensive and very complicated.
I will give this to you so that you can...
Oh no. All right, what am I doing?
You're going to type in some random text into the text box. I like doing current lyrics, and they're on 2 separate lines.
Okay.
Fun fact, you don't have to hit all caps. ProPresenter will automatically do that for you. Great.
Wait,
Beautiful.
So how does it automatically do it for me?
So if you select the text box, you can go up to this,
All caps. Whoa. Okay, so I can select the whole thing and I can do...
Or you can select the text box.
Title?
Title case, so that basically means
It
that
starts the first word with the uppercase letter.
starts the first letter of every single word, and it's always capital. Start case is the first line.
Whoa. Okay, great. Love that.
So
it's fascinating.
always have your lyrics in all caps, please.
Okay.
Please and thank you.
Good note. Okay. What about font?
So you can kind of choose whatever you want to, except for Comic Sans. That is my only...
Okay, don't do Comic Sans. Great.
Unless it's for a youth group.
Right now it's on regular. Is that what we want to leave it? Do we ever do bold? Do we ever...
I believe we do bold sometimes. It really just depends on the font.
Yeah.
You'll probably have to play around with it in the room to find the right...
What do we do on a Sunday morning in Kirkland?
I think we do Arial, and I think we do it at like medium. Or maybe it's medium that we do. And
where's Arial at? Probably at the top. Arial. Bold?
Bold. Sure.
Sure. Yeah, that looks great. Awesome. Lyrics.
So now, if you want to right-click on the slide on the...
This guy?
Nope, above.
This
That
guy?
one. Yep.
Okay.
Duplicate.
Okay.
And then we're going to make this lower thirds.
Oh, awesome. Do I have to rename it somewhere?
You're more than welcome to. If you right-click it,
Okay.
rename.
Okay. Lower thirds.
And then let's rename that to center. Yeah,
You want it to be center?
center.
Why center?
Because the lyrics are in the center of the screen.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, and then lower thirds are going to be in the lower thirds
yes.
of the screen. So how do I do that?
I would resize the text box.
Do I just grab it?
Yep.
And just
Yep.
squish it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put it wherever you want.
Lower thirds. But it's going to pretty much be the same, right? So why do we have a center and a lower thirds if our lyrics are going to end up the same place scripture is?
Because we're sending two different looks to two different screens.
Oh, that's right. We're sending one to Resolume.
Right.
Right? And then we're sending the other to
Yeah.
the video village. Okay, great. Awesome. Sweet. So now what?
The other thing that I'll kind of show you if you click on the text box.
Yeah.
So we'll do this for the lower thirds. So over here is you have all of your like alignment and stuff like that. But below it is where you want the text to sit at in the box. So for lower thirds, I highly recommend having the text on the bottom.
Yeah.
Because then even if you don't have like 2 lines of text,
Right.
it won't automatically center itself. It'll always stay on the bottom, which just looks cleaner in my opinion. And then you have shadows and things like that. It might be helpful for projectors, but we don't really use that. Yeah. You can also make it different colors if you really, really want to.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
But
white is just
yeah.
the simplest.
Yep.
Okay, great. What's next?
Let's go ahead and make a new theme.
Okay.
And we'll make our scripture.
And then this is going to be scripture.
It won't be in the lyrics theme. We'll need to add a new one.
Oh, it's going to be separate. So get rid of this. So I'll click up here. And then new theme. And then you said scripture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So now let's actually click on the Bible tab. That'll be easier.
Okay.
Pick a verse, any verse.
Okay, Genesis 1:1.
Great.
Genesis.
You can also use shorthand in here, which is great. So you can say Gen, Gen, and it'll automatically pull it in. So if you go to options and the slide options, here's where you can show all the things for what you want to display on your scripture.
Yeah.
We personally don't really like to show the verse numbers, but that is a thing that you could do. But really what I'm looking for is I want the verse reference so that we can easily move it into our theme.
Okay.
So I'm just going to copy the slide, going to move over to the theme editor. So we'll add a text box.
Okay.
And then we're gonna, over here is your objects. So anything in here, whether it's a shape, it's an image, it's a text box, it's all over here.
Right.
What's really important for this, especially if you're using like the Bible app in ProPresenter, is you wanna label each respective thing verse and reference.
Yes.
And then ProPresenter will detect that and automatically populate it with that text.
Okay. So that's just going to stay verse. Another text box is going to be script or reference. We have a text box for verse. We have a text box for reference.
Yes.
And now we're going to put them where they should be in the scripture theme. Okay, great. Awesome. We're learning.
Also here is an eyeball icon.
And if you click it, it'll take it away.
Yes.
And that way you can focus on one at a time.
Yep.
Love it.
Here in the shape section, you can fill it with a specific color. So we're just gonna make this black.
Okay. So same thing as lyrics.
Yep, just very similar
Yeah.
thing. So we'll put that there.
And we want it to fill up all the lower thirds, but still have space on the edges so that it's kind of floating.
Yeah.
Where it's not taking up the entire lower part of the screen.
Right.
But then it also has enough space for you to fill it with a large scripture.
And here's just where you just have to trial and error
manually
it.
go through and figure out where you want it to be, how you want it to look.
Which there are, like, some people will make like themes and you can export themes, so you don't have to manually redo this on every single computer ever.
And this isn't even the number one way to do it. This is just the way that we found that works, so that scripture can be flown from the person who's running ProPresenter on a Sunday, and the people who are operating the broadcast don't have to communicate with them so that it goes through multiple channels. It just eliminates more points of failure.
Yes.
So this way it flies up as if it's a scripture or as if it's a lyric, and then it can be taken down immediately as well. And it also, correct me if I'm wrong, but it goes up the same way where you just click it and then it just flies automatically and then you just hit the clear button and then it gets taken down. And we have different colors for the reference based off of what campus it's at, because each campus kind of has its own theme and color to it as well. So these can be anything that you want.
Okay.
Great.
The other thing that I'll mention is in any sort of text box, you do have scaling. So what this means is if you have a bunch of text and it doesn't fit the text box, you can resize so that the actual text box goes up and down with the size of your text. The text size will go up if it doesn't fill it.
Show me that. But okay, so what about the text box? How do you make that scale up or down? Oh, interesting. Can you make it scale like in or out, or is it just the top or bottom?
I think it's just the top and bottom.
Got it. Okay.
I don't really use that too much.
Right.
But the main thing that I use is text down. Why did it do that? So then if you have a bunch of text and it doesn't fit in there, it'll just scale it down.
Great. Okay, so it won't stay at the same size.
Correct.
But it'll make it so that it fits in the box. Great, cool.
And then this is where it won't go any bigger than whatever text size you have, which is great.
Right.
Cool. So now we've made our scripture theme. So now we can go in options, theme, and find our...
So we have lyrics in there, and we have scripture next to lyrics.
And then now...
So that's now in the playlist Sunday?
It is not.
No, it's not.
But we can copy this, and then we can make a new presentation. This will auto put it in whatever playlist you select.
Yeah.
So then you don't have to go and find it.
Okay.
And now I can just paste it, and now it's there.
Wait, so how do you find that sermon?
You can go, I just made a new one.
Yeah.
But it's in this presentation. So
okay, so when you click presentation in library, then it will pop up below it as sermon. Okay, great. Awesome.
So, then here's
if you were to click, okay, got it.
We'll move that up there.
Great. Okay, cool.
So that's what your library
Do you want to have multiple of those in your library, or would it be simpler just to have one, or just have like a Sunday version and then like
have multiples of what?
Of the presentations that you have up here?
I personally like to have backups of things. So I typically will rename the sermon to whatever the date of the Sunday is.
Oh, okay.
But it really, I mean, you can use the same sermon every single week if you want to. I will say that for my volunteers, to make it super easy, is I always have a blank slide at the beginning of each presentation.
Okay.
Usually it'll have a macro on it, but for like videos or graphics or anything like that, where I'm like, okay, ready, okay, go. It's helpful that they can hit that, they're there, they're waiting, and then they can hit spacebar.
Got
It's just less stressful for everybody.
Sure, yeah.
So
you know you're in the right place and you're already set up just to hit spacebar. Could you hit an arrow key as well?
You can. So left and right will move it forwards and backwards, and then up and down will switch your presentation.
And normally
or
that presentation, is it the playlist or the presentation?
Right now we're looking at the library. So
okay. So that could also be used for jumping between songs as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. I'm getting ahead of myself, but that makes sense to be able to use that for several different needs for a Sunday morning. So you can have multiple different songs for worship, and then you can have your scripture set up, and then you can have maybe one for like photos that you'd put up. Okay, cool. Makes sense. You
can also have multiple of the same presentation in a playlist item. So here I have presentations twice, but you could, have your pre-service slides at the top and bottom of your playlist item just to make it easy for people. But yeah, any questions?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. So we're going to work on songs. I've connected to our CCLI account.
Great.
So you can click the CCLI and song select by CCLI, and then we'll search for whatever song. We'll do Another in the Fire. And then import. And here is like where you can make your life really hard or you can make your life really easy.
Okay.
So slides delimited by paragraph break or line break. So if you are doing like a wall of text, which please don't ever do that. If you are doing that, you can do this paragraph break and it'll break it up by verse and chorus and etc. It'll also only put one paragraph per slide. That's what this is saying. Or we can do line break. So
we can do it the right way.
Right, correct.
Our way, and do line break.
Yes.
So that way it's only doing, 2 lines?
Yes.
And do we have to set it to do that?
Yep, we can do it 2 lines and then go from there. Here's your themes again. So we'll want to use our lyrics. I personally like to have it lyric center when I'm restructuring it like this. And then here is your library. So again, we have 2 libraries. We have presentations and we also have the English one. I'm going to put it in English because that's where our songs live. And then also the Sunday playlist. Any questions?
Nope.
Cool. And then import. And then now all of these, this text is very small. Now here we have the entire thing. So here's where I like to use the reflow button. So here's edit. So this is where you can do full size, editing, things like that.
You can go through and you can add a punctuation if you want to, or if some reason we change a lyric from sloppy wet to unforeseen.
Yeah, exactly.
Go in there and change that.
You can also you can also right click it and do quick edit, which will just...
Yeah, I've seen that before. So that lets you edit from seeing the whole thing.
Correct.
And you just jump in, you change that lyric real fast, and then you can jump out.
I normally do this if I see a typo, and before I put the typo up on the screen, I'll do quick edit and edit it.
Yeah.
So reflow is what I really like. So this is where... Why is it so tiny?
It's so tiny. Okay.
Great.
I have bad eyesight, but that's really tiny. Okay, we're good.
So here's where you can edit the slides and stuff like that. So this song is like not the fastest song, but it's not slow per se.
Okay.
But the lyrics are very wordy. So I'm gonna break this up in
How'd
a
you
little
do
bit. So option return. So you click on where you want your line break to happen. Option return. Sorry, PC users. I don't know what it is.
Control.
Probably. And then it's made a new line.
Okay.
And then you can also hit backspace, and it'll add it
It'll
to that.
merge them together.
Yeah.
So if you wanted, you could click the right before the and then you could merge all of that together in one.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Which we would never do.
We would never
but
do.
you could do it.
You
and then you
could.
just option
Return.
Why isn't it just return? Maybe it's just enter on PC. I feel like that'd make the most sense.
Because it's adding lines for return.
Oh, okay. That's different. Never mind.
So, so here, you know the song, right?
Sure. What do I do?
I would split up so that there's one line for the verses. Yep.
Now, sometimes...
Except for that one.
No, which one?
The Where I Used to Be. Because it feels weird to have one line being, and when I look at the space between, like, that makes more sense lyrically.
So it's almost like you're breaking up sentences?
Yes,
I don't want to
exactly.
be alone, so...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks great.
Okay.
I would split up all my debt at beneath and make beneath the waters a new line. Not a new slide, but a new line. Yep. And then
make I'm no longer
correct.
A new slide.
Option,
that's right. Okay.
Yep, that looks great.
Was that? Okay, yep, so keeping that. Interesting. Okay, so it's creating slides for me as I'm doing this. That's awesome. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, I didn't discover this until 2020. And I was using ProPresenter like 4 years before that, and I would manually go in and use the
create
edit.
a slide and duplicate and
copy paste, like
cut one side and then do the other. That's crazy. Okay.
So this makes it, yeah, right. So also, I hate anything in parentheses in.
Yeah, where is that?
It's right here.
Here it is.
Slide 22.
Between us.
Which in that case, it's just talking. Like the parentheses is like sometimes they say it and sometimes they don't.
Right.
So specifically, there's two bridges in here. So if we want to, let's copy this bridge.
Okay. That's the bridge right here.
I would do it over here. So you can select all these slides.
Do I have
command.
to go out of? Okay. So I just do command, select.
Yep. And then you can do command C or you can right click it and then paste it. Great.
Command C, command V, great.
Great, and then right click that slide, and we're gonna group it. We're gonna rename the group. So group.
Ooh, right here. Okay.
Yep, and then bridge 2.
Oh, interesting. So we're almost making it like its own bridge, and then we're gonna move all this to another spot, or does it do the bridge twice?
It does the bridge twice.
Got it,
However, bridge 2 doesn't have the last nothing stands between us. It doesn't have the last us.
Okay, so we're getting rid of.
We're just getting rid of
bridge
us.
To us.
Yep. So now that slide doesn't have.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Yep.
Cool.
So that's kind of the reflow editor. And if you want to go back to show, and I'll take the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, get this away from me, please. Wait, click show. Okay, great. So that takes us right back to what we would be looking at.
Yep.
On a Sunday morning.
And then also, I'm a big fan of shortcut keys. So anytime that you want to add a new slide, it's Shift Command N as in November, and it'll add a new blank slide. You can also do it down here.
Oh, great. Okay.
And I'm going to move this so that it's at the beginning of this, and I'm going to name it.
And then that gives us our blank one, right?
Yep.
Okay, love that. Do you have a blank slide and a graphic?
So I typically for worship, I'll just have it just have the graphic.
The graphic is the blank slide, so you click that graphic, it transitions, takes the lyrics off. Or do you have to clear the lyric and then click the next graphic?
Nope, you can just click the graphic.
Do we have to do something special to set that, or is that just automatically how it works? Do we have any graphics in here we could throw in?
We don't.
Probably not.
But I can add some in.
Cool.
At your meeting.
Okay, great, awesome. Awesome.
So I'm gonna make a worship, a lyrics macro real quick. I'm just not gonna add any actions to it, but I'm just gonna name it lyrics. And I personally like to have my lyrics white in the macro setting. Just how I've always done it. And then if you click and drag this lyrics macro, now there's this M that pops up in here.
For macro.
For macro.
Yep.
You can also change the icon. And then now once we add actions to that macro, it'll change anything that we could possibly want, such as clearing any graphic or whatever. If there's any blank slide like this and there's nothing else on it, it's just literally blank, it'll always remove the text.
It'll always just clear it.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
It won't clear the background, but it will clear the text.
Will it do it with the macro on it?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, so that's why we put the macro, so that it clears the background, clears the lyrics, and then transitions.
Right now there's nothing on it, but if I go to add action, clear, which is the same as the clear buttons up here.
Got it.
So clear, and then clear media, which is backgrounds, videos, things like that. Now every time that I hit this, it'll clear the background for us.
Got it. Okay, great.
Then if you don't have CCLI, for whatever reason, highly recommend doing that.
Is that a separate fee?
It is, but every church should have it if they're playing music.
It's pretty necessary.
Yeah. Pick a song.
Firm Foundation.
Great. So what you can do is, if I can type, you can search a song and do the lyrics. You can copy and paste.
Yeah.
And does it really start off with "he won't"? Interesting.
I don't know if I've heard that, but maybe. Sure.
I'm going to do the multi-tracks one because the multi-tracks always has the lyrics for free on their website.
Oh, okay, great.
And also puts it in order. So you can find the specific version that you're doing and do it like that. So, and it also has the chorus and chorus things like that. So I'm just
so
going to
we can just grab all of that.
Yep. Copy. We'll make a new presentation.
Okay.
Lyrics. Center. Firm Foundation. Great. And now I'm going to add a new blank slide. I'm going to go to my reflow.
Yep.
And really, really important.
It's going to drop all of this in here.
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
Correct.
and then we have to go through and manually separate it. Got it.
Really important to save yourself some work is you can do paste and match style. Because if I paste it right now, the text format is going to be all funky. And
it comes out as if you're pulling it from a web page, which makes sense.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
So you can do that and you can reapply your theme, but it's less work if you just paste and match style. And of course it doesn't do that for me. Thanks.
And paste and match style. Nice.
So you can do it with a shortcut key, or you can do paste and match style in the edit section.
Okay, let me do this one.
Yep.
This makes sense. Okay, so I'm getting rid of chorus 1. Yep.
Yep, and
We're
then
gonna just get that out of here, and then get rid of the blank spot.
And then I would, before you move on any further, click on the little arrow. Yep, that one. And then group, and we're gonna label it chorus 1.
We're going to label this whole thing chorus 1?
Correct.
Okay.
So you only need to do the first slide of groups, and then it'll do the rest from then on.
Like by itself, like it'll know.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to do that guy. Now I'm getting rid of chorus 2, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that doesn't need to be here. Okay.
But we'll label it chorus 2 just, I guess it's still a part of the chorus. It's fine.
Okay, so we're making some progress here, and then same thing with this guy. Yep, okay. And then this guy too. And then this guy.
We'll get rid of turnaround because that's not a lyric that they sing.
That's not.
That's a section.
My bad. Okay. So then we're doing this one.
Can you look in the groups and see if we have a turnaround group?
Yeah. On he won't?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just curious if we have one. Oh, we do. Okay, great. So make a new blank slide, which you can do option return.
Like that?
And then get rid of chorus 3.
Okay.
And then label that turnaround. Nope.
No.
Group turnaround.
Oh, group turnaround. Okay. So then I'm clicking the arrow.
Yep.
Go into group and turn around.
And then that'll put a blank slide for when they're not singing anything.
Oh, because there is kind of a pause between
Yep.
that. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So I'm going with this guy, and I'm just going to keep...
I can't remember if that's a verse or a chorus. I think it's a verse.
This is the verse. Yeah, this is verse 2.
Want to label it that?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so I'm going to click this guy, and then go to group, and then verse 2. But I'm doing the same thing with this one, or is it just automatically
It's just
applied?
automatically. You can see like there's color down here.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so then I'm going to just keep
I'm going
hitting
to
it.
borrow the mouse for a second.
Yeah, please do.
I'm going to zoom out here. You can also rename groups in this view. And so if I label this verse 4, it'll automatically...
Oh, it'll make all of those in that group.
Yes.
Verse 4.
Okay, continue.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to go to...
All the tracks labeled these really weird.
Here. Yeah, that's interesting. And so this is supposed to be a different verse? Why does it keep going down to the bottom?
I think because there's just a bunch of text.
So like, well, it's not even at the very bottom. Interesting. Okay.
ProPresenter.
ProPresenter, yep, thanks. So on refrain, do we need anything labeled for that, or do I just get rid of it?
I like labeling refrain,
Okay.
but it's whatever you want to do.
So this guy, I'm going to go to groups.
And we might not have refrain. We don't, so we get to make it.
Oh, we get to make it. Let's see. How do we do that?
So you can do it from this tab. You can also go into settings.
Okay.
And you want to put it wherever it normally goes. So I like to have the refrains after the choruses because that's typically where
So
they
you're gonna
go.
select chorus 4 because
Yep.
it's the last one.
Thanks, ProPresenter.
Or just not. Just drag it on up and then name it refrain.
And then here's where you can choose any color of your choosing. I like to do this cayenne color.
Okay.
It's just how I've always done it.
Great.
And then we'll go back, and now we can label this refrain, and it's forgotten my color because ProPresenter is ProPresenter.
It already forgot it.
It already forgot it.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
So anyway, and then you can keep...
Okay, but refrain is on there. It just
Yes,
doesn't have the
it just
color.
doesn't have the color.
Okay. Awesome. I can't see my mouse. It's somewhere. I see it kind of popping up. It's tough because it's like against the white background.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so...
Do we need to size up the icon?
Maybe. No, we're fine. Okay, so now I'm going to go to chorus 1. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I'm gonna get rid of this.
Yep. I will say that it's helpful to have just one set of choruses. Like if there's no lyric change, it's nice to only have one of them. That way, if you ever make changes to a chorus one, you don't have to do it to all of them.
Right. Okay, so now I'm doing chorus 2.
Sure.
And then I'm getting rid of this guy. Did I get rid of it? No. Should I leave? No, I think I just got rid of that last slide. Okay. And then we're back to refrain.
Yep.
So I'm gonna
Which we can
go
delete
ahead.
that. That's up above.
Delete this whole part?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't need it.
Okay. And then we're back to bridge. So am I going to label this guy? Mm-hmm. Okay. Bridge 1 or just bridge?
Bridge. Typically, how I name stuff is that if there's only one of them, I name it without a number, so it's always bridge or it's always verse.
Do we want this blank between chorus 1 and bridge, or is it just we
Yeah,
just
that's
want
fine.
the blank one
Let's
if
just
they're going to pause?
Let's label it instrumental.
Is that an option?
Oh no, we get to make it. Just name it interlude. It's fine.
Interlude?
Interlude.
Okay.
And then you'll have to rename this to bridge again.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so that makes sense. So you're kind of putting in the work for each one if you don't have CCLI.
Right.
So that's just another reason why you would want to get it.
Yes. Or if there's if you have your own song, that's a bridge.
This is the bridge.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
if there's like a funky arrangement, you can do it like this, or if you have your own song that you want to put in, like you wrote the song, it's not going to be on CCLI most likely, but you could just copy and paste from.
Is that what we did for like Gotta Rise, or is that on CCLI?
I don't think that's on CCLI. I just copied and pasted it from Planning Center. So
nice. Okay, so let's just pretend like I do the rest of it.
Great.
This makes sense.
Great.
Take it back.
So up here we have this little arrow with 3 boxes in it. If you click on it, it's the arrangement view.
Okay.
So that's what we use. So here is your master. So this is always the default. Any sort of changes, it's just in here. And then we can go into new arrangement, and you can name it by campus. If you have multiple campuses, you can name it like default. I'm just going to name it Sunday. Because if you have like a women's group or whatever, you can name it that. I'm going to label this intro. And so now we can, add, say we want to do 2 choruses at the beginning and then a turnaround and the verse and then another chorus. Now all of these slides, if I scroll down, now they're all here and in order. So.
Great. So it's almost like you're just shifting around like the sections themselves,
and then
instead of the individual text
correct.
boxes.
And then if you're like, oh, we actually didn't do 2 choruses at the beginning, you can just there's a little X that pops up. You can click that, and it just got rid of that.
And then how do you put that second chorus back?
You just click and drag. It's very easy. Click and drag.
That's 2 chorus 1s. Is that the same thing as the chorus 1 and chorus 2?
It is not. But if they're repeating the chorus.
Oh, if it's a repeat, got it.
Yep.
And if they don't, then you just get rid of it, and then you don't need to worry about it. Great.
So if they do chorus 1 and chorus 2, then
love it.
Like that.
Awesome.
We're editing the lyrics look. We can put a mask on it if there's something that we don't want to show. Messages. So this is where like, hey, please come pick up your kids. This is where that gets sent to all the screens. So we don't want messages to send to our broadcast screen. So we'll just deselect it, and then now it's not going to send to it, but it is going to send to our main audience screens in the auditorium. Props, probably don't need to send that to broadcast. That's like logos and stuff like that. Announcements, we won't send a broadcast. And then presentation, this is where those themes come in handy. So this forces it to send a specific lyric or theme to the different outputs. So I'm going to leave the screen 1 blank here, but I am going to change it so that it's lower thirds for broadcast.
Got it.
So now I'm going to switch to screen 1, which is our main auditorium. And so here you can see that the lyrics are centered. How
does the song that we choose, let's say we just pull a random song from CCLI, how does that song know to be centered and to be lower third?
So that's going to be in the looks. So if we have this force to be centered, it'll always send center to our audience screen, and then lower thirds to our broadcast, which is in this presentation. So we'll get rid of messages, props, announcements. And then also here is the slide. So slide is going to be any sort of text. Media is going to be any sort of graphics, which broadcast doesn't really need that for lyrics. And then video input. So again, if you have that.
We don't use it, but
you
if
can
you need
have
it. Yeah. And we're taking down the transition time from 1 second to 0.
Yep.
Because it should just be instant.
It should just be instant.
If you have that on 1 second, then wouldn't it transition lyrics every single time would do like a fade? And we don't really want that. We don't use it.
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was a feature until I swapped to the lyrics look.
Maybe it's new.
It might be new. So here we have scripture. And now we're going to force this to be the scripture look. Theme, for just broadcast, and that'll force it to send that broadcast scripture look.
Got it.
Over.
Okay.
Same thing. We don't really need video input. Don't need media. Actually, we'll send that over. I'm gonna make one more look, and I'm gonna make it everything else. really less is more when it comes to lyrics, especially for volunteers and stuff like that.
Totally
it just
agree.
makes everything simple. So I'm just everything else. So really, I mean, that's really what all you need for a Sunday service is, which you may need, every church is different, but for us, we only need 3. We need lyrics, we need scripture, and we need everything else.
Got it.
So if, we have something that doesn't fit lyrics or scripture, everything else.
Okay.
So we're just gonna do the same thing. Sure, we'll send over. And now this presentation doesn't have any sort of forcing of themes.
Right.
So
Okay, we're just leaving it.
we're just leaving it.
Great. Awesome.
So macros can do a bunch of different actions at once. So right now on our lyrics one, the only action that we have is clear media. So clearing graphics, backgrounds, things like that. But since we just made looks, we're gonna add our lyrics look to it. So it's add action, audience look, and then lyrics. And now you can't really see it from this far away, but it's a guy with a mustache.
I see that. Yeah.
So
Okay,
each action has an icon to it, which is great. And then here we have stage, which is your stage display. This we can set to whatever we want. So I'll make a stage or a worship stage display.
Okay.
But that's currently the current and next one is this, which if we have lyrics, here's the next line of text is right there.
Great. Easy.
So we'll also make a sermon one. So here, I'll let you do that.
Oh boy.
Okay, we're gonna add, what do you think is the first thing that we're gonna add to this?
Am I right-clicking it?
Yes.
Okay. Right-click, and then I go add action. Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you think needs to go in this macro?
For sermon. Probably stage, because it's gonna be for the speaker to see. Yeah? Okay, your eye twitched a little, so I wasn't sure. Okay, and then stage screen 1.
We can put that for there. We can do that for now, and then we'll come back to it.
Okay.
What else?
Let's add another action. Timer.
Yes.
That's the important one.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what do we want to do for timer?
We'll do segment countdown.
Okay.
Great. And then we're gonna do. Are we gonna do a countdown at a time, or are we gonna do a timer?
Probably countdown to time. I mean, we could do a countdown timer, but like if service is supposed to end at the same time,
Yeah, we can do that.
then we can
I normally do timer,
Okay, let's do countdown timer.
and we'll put it down for a hope.
5 minutes or an hour or
I usually put 30, and then
Great. So we got those 2.
Yep.
Did we add any more? Okay, what else?
do we need to change our look?
Do we? That's a great question. How do we do that?
Audience look?
Audience look, okay, and then scripture.
Scripture.
Great. So now we have those 3 things on there.
And then we'll probably need to clear any background that might.
Okay, so clear, and what would that be?
It'll be clear media.
Clear media, okay.
Great.
Love that. Great. So that's going to be like our next section. Is that going to be on a blank slide so that when we click that blank slide, it activates everything?
Yep.
Okay,
you can also
great.
click it on the sidebar.
Or you can just click it on the sidebar on the macro, or you could click it on like a Stream Deck input if you want to do that. Cool.
So I normally like to make a video group.
Okay.
I like to type it. This is the only thing that I will type in all caps.
Okay.
Just to make it very plainly clear that this is a video.
Got it.
And then I normally make it like this hot pink.
Something very bright that stands out.
Yep.
Okay.
And so anytime that I have a video, let's see if it remembers the color this time. Hey, look at that. So now, any time that there's a video there.
Like a video announcement or something
countdown.
Recap.
Yep.
A countdown, okay.
I always label it as video.
Oh, got it.
Which also we should make a macro for video.
Okay.
So we're gonna do clear all.
Great.
And then we'll do the everything else look. And then
And that's important to have like the clear all and all that on it, or else you could just have a lyric that
Yes.
just strays onto your video.
Or if
And then you have to get rid of that layer itself
Yeah.
while the video is live. You don't want to do all that.
Or if you have your pre-service loop and it's set to the announcement layer, which is a higher priority than the media, clearing media won't get rid of those
Right.
graphics.
Right.
So clear all will clear everything.
Good. That's cool when you
ProPresenter.
drag the macro over that it makes a blank slide.
Yeah, I like
with
that a lot.
Okay.
I do that a lot for like the intro slides of songs and stuff like that. If I don't want to like do shortcuts, I'll just
Right.
click and drag.
Right.
So now here we have the video macro and the group, and now when we hit it, it'll do all the things.
Love it.
So we can go to the stage editor.
Okay.
And so here we have
Just your kind of default stage display.
That's what you get from ProPresenter.
Which that's pretty good. That's not bad, but do we need a timer? Do we need the clock on there? Do we need video countdown?
So I like having video countdown on here. However, I think it's really crowded with all of these clocks on it.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is set visibility. And this will show or not show an object if something is happening.
Okay.
So here we have all of the following conditions are met, or any of the following conditions are met, or none. Video countdown has time remaining. So if the video stops, it should automatically stop the timer.
Okay.
And then it won't show, which is great. And then we'll do the same thing for this. Is playing. It's not has time remaining. It's is playing or is running is what we want.
Okay.
And then, so now we don't have a video or a timer running, but if I hit play, now that timer is showing up.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna make a video stage display.
Okay.
And if you click the plus icon, it'll show you a bunch of things that they've already
There
made.
are options
Yep.
for you to have it auto-customize.
Yep, I'm gonna just make a blank one.
Brand new.
And so I'm gonna name this video plus timers. So now,
Do we change the stage display through service? We do. Okay, we go to different ones. Got it.
So anytime that there's a video playing, especially like the countdown video, like the band needs to see how much time is remaining.
Totally.
So
Yeah, that helps us too in the control room to be able to see when we come back in the room. So.
and what's playing on the screen.
Right.
So here we have screen preview. So it's just set to the audience, and then here we can size it whatever we want to. So I like to do this. And then I'll put a clock or put the time remaining on it. And then also what I highly recommend you do for all of your stage displays is always have a stage message in it. Because if you need to talk to the band for whatever reason and you don't have a talk back or whatever, or you're trying to tell your band to get off the stage, you can have this stage message and it will show it.
Love it.
On the screen.
Okay, so we've got the countdown clock. We have stage message. What else do we need?
We'll put a system clock in here too. And then
Just a generic clock.
just what time it is.
Yeah.
So system clock is always going to be what is on your computer. Oh, that's nice that you have the option of doing 24-hour time or not.
So remind me, what is the yellow box that you put in there?
It's the screen preview.
Okay.
So it'll automatically show. Let me show you. So here's where you can switch it to video and timers.
Yeah.
So now this is a preview of what is sending to the main thing.
Do you want it as big as it's set so that it would cover the timers potentially, or do you want to make it smaller so that everything has its own space?
So normally what I do is I'll put it over the video. Sometimes I'll darken the text box to make it more visible.
Yeah.
But I want to make the screen preview as big as possible for the videos and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I also know that they need to see these three things.
Yeah, I guess my only question is, if there's a video playing right here in this box, would it cover up the countdown?
No, because the screen is this screen right here is the lowest, and so it's below everything else.
Right.
But if I move this up here, now it's on top.
Got it. Okay. That
Does
makes
that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. Glad I asked.
Macros. So we'll do stage and then video and timers. And so now
when you click the video, that automatically changes the stage screen
Yep.
over. And we only need 2 stage screens, right?
we have 3. We have a
3.
sermon one, which
Okay.
shows like the full screen preview of what's
That's
coming up
right.
next.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can make it customizable. You can even link your Planning Center Live account or your Planning Center account to ProPresenter.
Oh, cool.
And then somebody can be running Planning Center Live, which is like, it takes, like automatically tracks time and stuff like that that's in the plan. And you can show that on your confidence monitor.
Wow, that's cool.
So
That's
there's
cool.
a ton of things like you can just poke about and find different things.
Should we make one for sermon?
We could, yeah.
Let's do it.
Do you want to?
No. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. I click more, and then I go stage editor. Okay, great. And then I'm going to make a new one of these. Do I just duplicate this?
You can, or you can make a new one with the plus icon.
Okay.
Nope. That's
that
adding
one.
to the screen.
Oh, okay. Where's the plus icon? This one.
Yeah.
Tiny one. Blank.
Sure.
Okay. And then we're going to name it sermon. Great. And now I'm going to do the plus icon up here. And I'm going to choose, what do I want?
So let's do current slide, which is at the top. Yep. And then preview image.
Okay.
And then now you can scale it to however you want.
Can I like make it so it's set in a 16:9 so it's not actually like this, or
You can.
as close as possible?
Yeah.
Just eyeball it. Okay.
And then place it wherever you want. And then we're going to do add again. And then we're going to do next slide, preview image. So current slide is whatever we're on, right?
So let's put that on the right side.
That's current.
Yeah. So let's put the next one
On the left side?
on the left side because you read left to right, right? So it's like the next one.
Wouldn't you
coming up.
want the current one on the left side because that's what we're on, and then next is on the right side?
Yes. That's what I was. Yeah. I do want that. Great. Okay. Done. Now what?
Probably put a stage message on there.
Yeah. I like that idea. Okay. So then we find, where's that at?
It's towards the middle.
Stage message. And then we just do what you did and we shrink it down. Throw that guy there.
And then we'll make the text scaling.
Oh, that's right. Where's that at? This guy?
No.
No.
I mean, you can't put it all caps. Make it really aggressive for them. Text up or down.
Text up or down.
Correct. So that way, if there's less text on there,
Right.
you don't want that
Make
for
it bigger,
lyrics.
Make it smaller. Right.
You don't want that for lyrics, but you do
you're
want it for
right.
your stage message.
And then timers.
And you
Segment
can,
countdown.
and we can put that on the top, and we can make that super big so that
Yep, you
they can
want 'em to
ignore
see
it.
So what do I do for this over here?
Same thing. So text up or down.
No, wait. That's not it. Scaling, text up
Yep.
and down. Great.
And then over here, we're going to get rid of the milliseconds, which is this. Yep. And then all the way at the bottom, there's, yep.
Nothing. Okay.
Yep.
love
And
it.
then we probably don't need the hour, so we can get rid of that as well.
This guy? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Great.
So it's just minutes and seconds. Mm-hmm. And then do we want to scale this
Yeah.
so that it goes to about here?
Yep. Do we want it centered or do we want it off to the side?
You tell me.
I would like it center.
Okay.
And then we'll also click on that again. We'll also do color triggers. So,
Oh, this is important. So
Yeah.
that when he goes overtime, it goes red.
yep. So we're gonna add, yep. And then we're gonna make it orange first.
Okay.
We'll make the text actually green, but
Okay.
this will
The
trigger
color
at a,
trigger.
yep.
At 0 or?
We're gonna make this at 5 minutes.
Okay.
Which the minutes is actually here. It's not.
Okay.
Keenan and I discovered that a couple days ago.
Nice.
And then at 0, we're gonna make it
Red.
red. Great.
Yeah, bright red.
And then text color, we're gonna make that green.
A specific green?
Yeah, I would do. I don't really like these colors. That's fine.
Okay.
We'll do that.
All right. Nice. That's great. I like the color triggers.
So, and now in theory, you can make this timer.
Take that back.
That's hours. 5, 10. So now the timer's going, and then it's green. And then in theory, it should, at the 5-minute mark, turn orange. Yeah.
Nice.
And then ProPresenter.
Okay, so then now it's already in orange because it's anywhere between
It's
1
after
second
yeah.
and 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then now it's going to hit red. And then do we have to do anything to make it do negative countdown?
No, it's only, you don't have to do it in the actual editor, but you do need to do allows overrun.
Okay, cool.
So
Always allow overrun.
also, if you're confused on why your timer isn't timering, sometimes you have to hit stop and then hit this back button, and it'll reset your timer to whatever you set it to, and then you can play it. Sometimes it gets stuck on the last timer it's set.
Oh, interesting.
It's a feature.
Right. Okay, great.
So, I think
that covers it. That's pretty straightforward.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
So if you want to set, instead of doing a macro, instead of making a new macro for everything that you, like any new action, what you could do is you could right click any slide, do your add action, and you have the same actions as you do on a macro. And then you can, if you wanted to send a MIDI note, which is in communications, you can do that. You could also send a message if you want to your stage displays, or you can reset the worship timer, things like that. That's where you can do that here, and it's only ever on this slide.
Okay, so an action is an individual one that you put on an individual slide.
Yes.
And macros can be put on multiple slides, and they can be multiple actions at once.
Correct.
Totally makes sense.
So instead of because we have the the lyrics macro here, instead of having to add, okay, clear media, okay, clear, lyrics, then these are individual actions.
Right.
Instead
you just take all those, throw them into a macro.
And then throw the macro onto
Okay, so the action is just like a simpler version if you need one thing done.
Yep.
Okay. Well, in that case, I feel like we're pretty good to go.
The only other thing that I didn't touch on was the hotkeys, which is like you can jump to certain sections in songs.
How do you do that?
So it's default when you open up ProPresenter, but each section of a song has like this letter up in the top left-hand corner, and that is associated with
the hotkey. So do you have to do command and then that number, or just that?
Just the letter.
Or just that letter. Okay, so if I want to do that.
Yep.
Okay, so if I were to click I, would that activate the macro on the beginning? So
every
that it
single
would clear
time,
everything? That's awesome. Okay.
And then C for chorus and B for bridge.
Makes sense.
What's nice with ProPresenter is that if you look at your keyboard, chorus 1/chorus is always going to be C. And then chorus 2 is going to be X, which is next to the C key. And then chorus 3 is Z.
Oh, nice. Okay, so if you need to jump choruses, they're all right next to each other.
And the same thing for bridge. So B is bridge or bridge 1, N is bridge 2, and M is bridge 3.
Well, I've learned a ton. I mean, this was a very extensive overview, but I feel like there's still a lot more that ProPresenter has to offer that we haven't touched on.
Totally.
So maybe in the future we can kind of circle back and be like, hey, here's some of the like advanced versions of ProPresenter, and then maybe we even talk about like, here's how to use ProPresenter on a Sunday, like how we go through each thing on a Sunday morning. I think that would be kind of cool. So great. Okay, cool. Well, I feel like this covers it. I feel like I know a lot more about this, and if I had to reset up a ProPresenter file from the ground up, I feel like I could do that pretty well now. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. I hope this helped you just as much as it helped me. It made ProPresenter a lot less scary and a lot more understandable for being able to run it on a Sunday or on a Wednesday night or anything that you might need it for. So if you have any other questions, put them in the comments below. We'll do our best to get back to you, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.